Hello and welcome to National ETD Repositories in G20 countries in relation to NDLTD's Global ETD Metadata Repository. Sharing this information with you is, I don't know how to pronounce it, I'll do my best. It's Sukanta, Kumar, Patra from Vidyasagar College for Women. My name is Anna Pavani. I'm from the Catholic University in Rio. I will be your moderator for the next 50 minutes. I will use 40 minutes for the presentation and leave 10 minutes for Q&A. I kindly request that during the presentation you keep your audio muted. Please feel free to use the Zoom chat tab to ask questions, which will be addressed during discussion segment. Thank you for all you joining, to all of you for joining us, and I will turn it over to Sukanta. After this session, I kindly invite you to join us for the closing ceremony.
Thank you, madam. Now, I am Dr. Sukanta Patra, presenting. Very good morning here in India, and I think in USA is a good afternoon. Now I go to direct share to
Did you forward a copy of your slides to us?
Now is it visible, ma'am?
Wonderful. Thank you.
Okay. Now, my topic is the national ETD repositories of G20 countries in relation to the NDLTD's global ETD metadata repository. And I am Dr. Sukanta Patra, a librarian of Vidyasagar College for Women, Kolkata, West Bengal, India. In brief, now what to be present in this conference, and in abstract, here the growth and development of ETDs available on the open access platform is the resulting in improved the service to researcher. Recent trend of the awarding the PhD degrees is directly dependent on the similarity report or plagiarism report. So it is never possible without ETDs and the open access movement to promote hidden research as explore research. So the study aimed to analyze the current state of the NDLTD and to participate in national ETD repositories throughout the world. The major objective of the study is to find out the current state of the NDLTD's metadata repository, to explore the comprehensive scenario of ETD repository of G20 countries with respect to the NDLTD's global ETD metadata repository. In this paper, the adopted methodology of the volumetric analysis and some national level of ETD repositories, G20 countries are analyzed. The study should be covered the ETD initiative by the G20 members country, comprise the 19 countries that means the Argentina, Australia, Brazil, Canada, China, France, Germany, India, Indonesia, Italy, Japan, Republic of Korea, Mexico, Russia, Saudi Arabia, South Africa, Turkey, United Kingdom, and United States, and the European Union. The G20 members, the countries that represent the 85% of the global GDP, over the 75 of the global trade, and about the 2/3 of the world population. The major objective of the study are to analyze the importance of ETD global context to find the linkage between the global ETDs and the G20 member countries. By talking into the consideration of the findings at the end of the study, there are some proposal of the recommendation and for the improvement of the status of the national ETD repositories. Now, going to the research abstract. The open access growth. And the second one is the quality assistance. And third one is the research trends. The electronic thesis and dissertation on the open access platform that significantly enhance the research service and the global knowledge of the accessibility. And what are the quality of assurance? The PhD award, now the mandatory plagiarism and the similarity reports, ensuring the academic integrity and research authenticity. And what are the research transformation? The ETD effectively to convert the hidden research into the explored, discoverable, scholarly contribution for the global academic community. These are the key research terms. And what are the research foundations? There are three main basics of the research foundation: information as the development driver, research integration, and the stakeholder benefits. Information serve. What are the that means the information as the information search? That means the socio-economic development across the nations and academic institutions. Research integrations. The research repository similarity integrate and organize the scholarly output and enhance the discoverability. And the last one is the stakeholder benefits. The essential resources for the researchers, librarians, and academicians the pursuing the advanced scholarly work. What are the global context of the aligned of G20 countries? Now there is a very short video. And we know the G20 Summit of the 2023 themes in the One Earth, One Family, and One Future. I think and our the NDLTD Metadata repository in future is a one of the best, not only best, it's a one and is a one world one ETD repositories, the metadata repositories in futures. And these are the very short videos within the 1.5 minutes. Now skip to the next one. Now, what are the primary research objectives? The connection, discovery, the global ETDs, and G20 integrations to identify and analyze the strategic connections between the global ETDs and the G20 members countries in the national research infrastructures. Secondary research objectives. The global context analysis, that means that to comprehensively the analysis and importance of the impact of ETDs within the broader global research ecosystem. And another, the comparative assessment to systematically compare the ETDs initiative across the G20 countries with the established NDLTDs repository standard and the best practice. What are the research methodology to the follow in this research, in my research? Is the oebemetrics analysis. Oebemetric analysis, that means that we follow the there are the very various of the ETDs of the national ETDs, and to go to the website and we collect the data and analysis for the paper. And quantitative analysis, that means the what are the data already found from the various ETD repositories of the national ETD repositories, and it is a simplified and it is a that means the presented in this my article and presentation. The global participation, NDLT's global participation. There are the 20 G20 countries that actively participate in NDLT's global open access movement, contributing to the worldwide scholarly knowledge sharing. And top of the there are also the examples of the Australia, Germany, Brazil, Canada, China, and France. Additional participating nations include the India, Italy, Japan, South Africa, United Kingdom, United States, and others also there. There are the main, there are some examples of the Australia, the TOP from Australia, BDTD from Brazil, and Thesis Canada from Canada. The global ETD repository is a major international repositories that showcase the diverse approach to the ETDs preservation across the continent. The China, France, Germany, India. You know the India South Ganga is a very popular ETD repository in throughout our India and also around the world. Now the status of the South Ganga is the total full text thesis. There are the 6,25,494, and then the data is from today. And there are the also submitted already the synopsis are the 17,349, and there are the university contributing universities are the 842, and university signed more 996. It is a record of the current status of the South Ganga. Now, what are the European Union ETD contributions? The DART Europe Consortium, the 7 European Union nations contributed to the DART Europe, then creating the unified European approach to the ETD management and discoverability. At the popular the main ETD considering the DART in the Belgium, Finland, Ireland, Netherlands, Portugal, Spain, and Sweden. And there are the France, Germany, and Italy maintain the individual national repository hold while they are contributing to broader the European initiatives. The global ETD ecosystem, the extent for the beyond the traditional academic powerhouse, encompasses of the diverse regions and emerging the scholarly communities. And there are the Armenia and developing the national repository infrastructure with the focus of the regional language preservation. Bangladesh growing the participation of South Asian academic collaboration network. Latin American also the regional contribution, the promoting the Spanish and Portuguese language scholarships also. And Taiwan also, they mentioned the advanced digital infrastructure supporting the multilingual the academic content. You know the country's religion in the ETD resources. There are the Armenia, the open access repository of the Armenian electronic thesis and dissertation. Australian is the Trove. Bangladesh is the digital archives on the agricultural thesis and dissertations. The Belgium is the Big Tail. Big Tail is a thesis in French, and Docs is the thesis in the Flemish. And Brazil is the Biblioteca Digital Brasileira de Thesis e Dissertation. The Canada for the Thesis Canada. The Central Asia, the Central Asian Thesis Repository. China, China Doctoral Thesis Dissertation Full Text Database. Europe is DART Europe. The Finland is a thesis and the publication of the University of Applied Science. And there are also another ETD repositories. That means the Milinda, that means the Union Catalog of the Finnish libraries. And France, the Thesis France, and Germany, Dutech National Bibliothèque. And Hong Kong, they also the Hong Kong HKU Thesis Online. India, South Ganga. Ireland, University College Dublin Thesis. Italy, Thesis Online. Japan, Japanese International Repository Online. That means the gyro, and the Sini dissertation. The Latin America is a network of OA repositories. The Lithuania is Lab A ETD. Netherlands is a Narcissus, and New Zealand is a nzresearch.org.nz. North America, the focus dissertation and the thesis and PQDT open. And Pakistan is the Pakistan Research Repository. Peru is the Renuti. The Portugal is the RCAP. Scandinavia is the DIVA. And the Serbia is the NARDUS. The South Africa ETD portal. Spain is thesis doctoral in red. And TEST-EO. The Switzerland is the Helvetic Cat, and Taiwan is National Digital Library of the thesis and dissertation in Taiwan. And United Kingdom is the Ethos, and United States is the American Doctoral Dissertation, and WALS is the thesis collection WALS. These are the global ETD repositories, respective the national repositories. And the G20 NDLTD's participation gap, there are only the 13 of the 20. The 20 countries in G20, and there are the only 13 countries, they have the ETD repositories, national ETD repositories, those are the participate in the NDLTDs. And you know the 65% of the G20 participation rate, and there are the 13, the participation gap, they represent the missed opportunities to the global knowledge, sharing the academic collaboration among the world's largest economics. And you know the 35% the missing opportunities are there in the 7 major economic remains the outside of the collaborative networks. The non-participating G20 nations. Who are the non-participating NDLTDs? There are the Argentina, the Latin American second largest economy of the subjecting the research output, Indonesia, Mexico, Russia, Saudi Arabia, South Korea, and Turkey. They are the nations. There are the 7 nations in G20 countries. Those are the not participating in the NDLTD repositories till now. And what are the leading ETD contributors? The top 3 contributors demonstrate the scale and the impact of the national ETD initiative in the preserving the scholarly knowledge. What are they? They are the top 3 are the United States, number 2 is the Brazil, number 3 is the United Kingdoms. There are the United States, there are the 1.5 million sub records in ETDs in NDLTD repository. The massive collection that reflected the decades of the digital repository development and the comprehension the university participation. And second one is 6 to 5K. That means the Brazil, the Latin America, the largest contributor, the showcasing the strong international commitment and across the partisan principles. And 600K is the United Kingdom. The robust collection, the representing the excellence of the research, the supervision, and the digital preservation standard. But now I think we cross in India. South Ganga is also now in the present scenario is crossed to the United Kingdom because there are the total full test thesis in South Ganga is the 6,25,494. The major European contributors, there are the 82% in the European nations that demonstrate the strong and the commitment of the scholarly preservation throughout the sustaining the ETD collections. And the France is it already mentioned that 5,25,384. But India is a record is a not up to date record. I already said that it is a record is now it mentioned that 4,83,399 when the article is writing. But now is the data is changed is the 6,25,494. And China is the 4,50,000 ETDs. Emerging ETD powerhouse, that the mid-tier the contributors the showcase diverse approach of national ETDs in the mid-tier. Who are the mid-tier? Germany. That means the 284,000 near about, and Canada 2 lakhs. This is bilingual repositories, and Germany is the this is quality control and the comprehensive the metadata standard that driven the German ETD excellence. And the South Africa 1,51,150, the leading the African contributors of the multilingual content and repositing the. And you know that it is a graphical approach in Italy, Japan, and that Europe. There are in the NDLTD repository there are 6.4 millions of ETDs are there, and 89% of the G20 contribution and 11% is the other nations. That means the more the showcase of the ETDs of the in G20 countries in the NDLTD repository, metadata repositories. And the G20 the dominance in the global ETD repositories, the examination overwhelming the contribution of G20 nations to worlds, the economic and the electronic thesis and dissertation collection through the comprehensive metadata analysis. And I also there is a mention the NDLTD metadata repository overview. It is, I think it should be the change now data because there is the 6.4 million the total ETDs, but now it is figure should be the change. And there are the also mentioned that 89% and G20 share. I also before I also told you the 11% data, 11% ETDs, and the others repositories of the NDLTDs, and the 6.4 million. That means the 89% in the G20 countries mentioned there. So we can there from the list of the participants there are also mentioned the ETD repository, the American doctoral dissertation and bibliothèque dissertation, the Brazil. These are the and the South Ganga from India is a very popular ETD repositories in NDLTDs. And you know the some of the ETDs mainly for India's South Ganga is fully open access, and we can search through the NDLTD repositories and also the direct from South Ganga indirectly the full text thesis. But some of the thesis from the in NDLTDs is not the full text. We can search only the metadata from NDLTDs repositories. The G20 participation in ETD ecosystem. The participation percentage that reveal the significant disparities between the G20 and the non-G20 countries in electronic thesis and dissertation submission rate, the highlighting the digital divide in academic research accessibility. And as you know, there are the metadata harvesting pattern, the massive repository, the patients that develop the economic, the participation from the developing nations, the construct of the metadata harvesting that reveals the systematic differences between the digital infrastructure in our world. And I think if we participate more and more in our NDLTD repositories, mainly for the metadata, we can know what are the research outputs are there around the world, and we can search in our through our NDLTD in metadata repositories as a institution the capacity between the economic blocks. And what are the economic power that drive the repository the dominance? The global GDP control. There are the G20 countries that represent 85% of the world the gross the domestic products, and trade leadership the 75% of the international trade flow through the G20 economics, and ETD repositories share the 89% of the global ETDs. That means the G20 countries a very it's a supremum of the about the ETD repositories, and so also the global GDP and the trade leadership. The correlation between the economic strength and the research repository presence demonstrate that how the financial resources that directly they impact the academic visibility and knowledge dissemination and capabilities. The research visibility reflects the economic and the influence. What the research visibility means what the research around the world we can see throughout the ETD repositories, and we can full text we can search, and we can plagiarism through the similarity reports. The number tells the story. What are the G20 countries that contribute approximately 9,000 of the all in the ETDs the globally, the creating a powerful correlation between the economic influence and the research visibility in the digital repositories. These concentrations that suggest the financial resources, technological infrastructure, and the institution, the support system play the crucial role in the academic knowledge preservation and dissemination. Now, in India, there are the no MPhil theses are included in the South Ganga, but in strategic recommendations, if we include the expand the MPhil inclusion, then maybe it is also the pre-research gap in our the ETDs. So we can if you include the MPhil inclusions, the current gap, the many national repositories include the master philosophy thesis, the creating the incomplete academic records, and limiting the research accessibility for the emerging scholars. The including MPhil thesis would significantly enhance the repository comprehensiveness and provide the broader access to intermediate the level research contributing across the discipline. What are the enhance the bibliographic standard? There are the many repositories follow the different bibliographic standards, and no standardizations are there. But now in India, we can follow the APA format for integrations of the bibliography standard. The implement the standards American psychological, that means the APA citation format, the MLA compatibility also we can use, the ensure the modern language association formatting for the humanities research, and ISO standard for the compliance. They adopt the international organization for the standardization the bibliography protocol. This standardized bibliography record that facilitates the seamless integration across the different academic database and they improve the research, discoverability, and the global scholarly communities. I think if we follow the standard in a same, it is a, I think it is a standard more and more. And in India, we also mandate the electronic submission of protocol. But in future, if we mandate the all over the states, all over the and from the, India also, if we implementing the strategy to mandate the electronic submissions of protocols, then it is increasing the number of the ETDs, and day by day is very fast. to establish the mandatory electronic submission of the requirement for all thesis and dissertation, ensure the comprehensive digital preservation, while is the reducing the administrative burden on the academic institution. The building the awareness through the academic engagement. There are the mainly the two are the professional development and knowledge transfer. We know the organize the targeted the workshops, conference to promote the ETD awareness the amongst the academic administrator, librarians, and research community globally. Then it is increasing the our the what are the main the ETDs and how we can preserve for the future. We can awareness is very necessary, and that means the professional development. As per the professional development in ETD repository, the development repository is necessary, and it is the one kind of the knowledge transfer also, because the tacit knowledge is the transfer to the implicit knowledge also. There are the foster international the collaboration to the specialized training programs that demonstrate the best practice in ETDs management of ETDs. Now, in conclusion, in the view of the One Earth, now, that means that in conclusion, in view of the One Earth, One Family, One Future of the slogan of the G20 Summit, we may the conclude that G20 countries that play the pioneer role to the development of the sustainable world. As you know, that the G20 members countries represent 87% of the global, 85% of the global GDP. As the scenario of the global research repository, it also the shown that the G20 members countries play the pioneer role. NDLTD play a vital role in the open access initiative in the ETDs and the research data management. So there are the main recommendation is the all ETD are there. The all ETD repositories are the valuable resources repository in each country. But some national repository not include the MPhil thesis. It should also the include the in the these national ETD repositories to make this the comprehensive. The repository must provide the bibliography records of the uploaded thesis in various international bibliography formats such as APA, MLA, ISO 690, etc. Then we can include the as per our requirement. If we want APA, if we want to MLA, if we want to the ISO 690 and so on, then it is very easier. And last one is that to encourage the all universities and higher education institution for mandatory to submit the electronic versions of thesis and dissertation by researchers, universities into the national repositories with the aim of the academic community worldwide time to time. And thank you. I ending my session.
Okay, we thank you for such an interesting presentation that gives an overall vision of what's happening all over the world. And so I think this is very important. I'm very happy because my university was one of the founders of BDTD, the Brazilian National Consortium. I'm very glad you mentioned it. So let's open for questions. I have been checking the chat. I didn't find any questions on the chat. So if you have any oral questions, just to ask, I believe our presenter is going to be very glad to answer. Well, I believe we don't have any more questions or any questions. Oh, so I invite you to go to the closing ceremony so we can see people are going to have received the awards. Okay, thank you very much. It was
Thank
very
you.
nice to be at the conference.